Vine Direct, so call now. This is BMW Cubs Pregame Live.
The holiday weekend is upon us, and we'll kick it off with a little Cubs baseball, a divisional showdown against the Milwaukee Brewers. Game time set for 1:20, only on Comcast Sportsnet. Hello and welcome to BMW Cubs Pregame Live. Gail Fisher and Todd Hollinsworth here with you. The Cubs play well at home. They certainly scored a lot of runs last night. So, Todd, they need to keep this going because it is a critical homestand before the All-Star break.
Well, they want to get rolling. They did just that. They got rolling last night. At the same time, there's going to be some question marks out there today. Alfonso Soriano's back in the leadoff spot. Sam Fuld made a great impact the last couple nights. I think there's going to be an awful lot of pressure on him. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Cubs respond when the Cubs come up to bat for the first time, how this plays itself out. Because, I mean, there's just been so much made about this offense producing. And I understand exactly what Lou's saying in this situation. You got to have Soriano producing. We're not going to win without him. I believe all of those statements. At the same time, though, Sam Fuld's done a fantastic job kicking this offense off.
Well, they got the series off on the right foot last night, beating the Brewers in Game 1. Let's take a look back at some of the highlights. Offense was the name of the game for the Cubs. And they got on the board early after a walk and a base hit to start the bottom of the first. There's Derrek Lee with a 3-run home run to left field into the bleachers. It's his 13th of the season, but he wasn't done. 4-2 Brewers when Giovanni Soto leads off the inning in the bottom of the fourth with his home run there, his 8th of the year. It's 5-2 Cubs, and then Derrek Lee with the bases loaded gets the grand salami onto Waveland Avenue. Lee was 7 RBI in the game. The Cubs go on to win it 9-5. So, despite having the hot hand, Sam Fuld will not be in the lineup today. Lou Piniella going back to his veteran left fielder. For more on this story and other news from Wrigley, let's go live to the north side and bring in Luke Stockmeyer. Luke, certainly an interesting move by Piniella today.
Yeah, that was the million-dollar question. Lou said he thought long and hard about this all last night. He had promised Soriano that he'd be in the lineup and leading off. And sure enough, there's Soriano in left field leading off. Sam Fuld, who's been the spark plug, as you guys mentioned, 4 for 8 with 3 runs scored in his first 2 games back here with the Cubs, has been absolutely great for the team, but today he's going to sit on the bench and watch.
He's done a nice job. We recognize it.
Make sure it's showing that baseball with everybody.
Yeah, I thought about it all night. But look, I was going to put Soriano in there to play regardless today. We gave him a couple of days off. We need for Alfonso to start swinging the bat.
I hate to even open this can of worms. Well, you could have let off with Fuld and maybe dropped Soriano.
Well, we thought, well, you know what? Let me tell you this, Kerry. We thought of that too, believe me.
Okay.
And look, he hasn't played for a couple days. Let's put him in the spot where he's been familiar with. And let's see if we can get him hot. That's the important thing. But we thought of that too, believe me. But right now, today he's in the leadoff spot in left field where he's very familiar with, he's comfortable with, and let's hope that he swings the bat. We want him to swing the bat. We need him to swing the bat, and you know, if not, we can adjust things. Believe me, when we get Ramirez back on Monday, we can adjust our lineup if we want some, but hopefully we won't have to.
And speaking of getting Aramis Ramirez back in the lineup, he is on a rehab assignment this weekend. Meanwhile, Jeff Baker, the newest Cub, is out here at Wrigley Field this morning, taking some plays over at third base, at second base. Lou Piniella has compared him to Mark DeRosa in that he can play a whole lot of positions. He can play third for you, he can play first, he can play second, and Baker's just excited about coming to Wrigley Field.
It's special. It's one of the few venues left in the game that you actually look forward to going to. You know, all these other ones are really new and nice, but, you know, they don't have the history, they don't have the tradition that this place has, and more importantly, they don't have the fans that this place has. You know, it's always exciting. It's always a packed house here, and, you know, the games are always intense.
Gail, back to the Sam Fuld decision just for 1 second. I think this is more about making sure that Soriano and Bradley start to heat up for this team, because that's the real key for the Cubs getting to the postseason than it is more about anything Sam Fuld did. He did an outstanding job. The Cubs are just trying to get their corner outfielders rolling.
Yeah, they have to play through it. All right, Luke, thanks a lot. Enjoy the game. Hopefully we'll see a lot more runs scored from the Cubs today. Well, Derrek Lee is one of the reasons that the Cubs scored so many runs last night. He drove in 7 of their 9 runs. So much talk has been about Lee and his lack of power, and we saw 2 long balls out of him last night. So he kind of looks like the D. Lee of old.
Yeah, the last 3 home runs he's hit, that one in Pittsburgh was a bomb as well. I mean, Derrek, he looks so smooth and so relaxed and so confident. I mean, right now, it's just get him up there with some guys on base, because he is having great at-bats. I mean, you look how this thing's unfolding. He's got fantastic numbers against Jeff Suppan coming into this game today. I mean, things are setting themselves up right now for him to just have a great run right here before the end of the break, going into the All-Star break. At the same time, they need for him to be hot. He's the hottest guy. I mean, he's been the hottest guy over the last 6 weeks, and honestly, he's been carrying this offense, what offense there has been. He needs to continue that. This is a big, not only weekend, but week for the Cubs, and offensively speaking, they need to just make up some ground and really kind of get themselves back into it. I guess there's a lot of pressure on his shoulders, but he's responding because he is in a groove right now, and it's been an awful lot of fun to watch.
He's got the team on his back. Here's an interesting stat. Lee's grand slam moves him up the Cubs' all-time list. He has 6 career salamis as a Cub, and that's good for 5th place, and 2 behind second-place hitters like Billy Williams and Sammy Sosa. Now, Todd, Lee said last night's game was, quote, fun. Fun to have guys on base and putting pressure on the opposing pitcher.
Well, they have finally turned that pressure around. I mean, all that pressure that they were feeling offensively was self-induced pressure by failure. And unfortunately, things have not been going the Cubs' way offensively. To see them get out there, to get a lead, to produce, to watch Ryan Dempster be able to pitch with a lead the entire ballgame was so much fun to watch, because, I mean, these games have been so tight. They've been so exhausting. And I've been sitting here thinking, you know, back across the season and how this season has played itself out. And the one word that continues to come to my mind is exhausting. I think the fans, I think the players, I think the manager and the coaches, myself personally, you know, you've got so much invested in this team, and you want to see them do well, and there's so much expectation. But because of the underachieving around the offense for the most part, we've been exhausted.
Yeah.
A lot of close ball games, a lot of extra inning ball games, and it's been exhausting.
Well, it'll be another interesting pitching matchup today. The Cubs clobbered Seth McClung last night, and they hit Jeff Suppan well. Suppan will go for the Brewers, while the Cubs counter with Carlos Zambrano. Let's take a look at this matchup by the numbers. Suppan doesn't like the Cubs very much. The right-hander is 1-4. The 6.31 ERA over his last 7 starts against Chicago, and 0-2 this year. Now, that's the good news. The bad news is Zambrano is winless in his last 4 starts, coming off a rough outing and an emotional outing against the White Sox on Sunday. But, Todd, you say this means Z will deal today because he bounces back.
He is my bounce-back guy. It always seems like when he kind of puts himself in that, you know, bad media spotlight, or he handles himself in a way, or, you know, somehow there's some kind of controversy around him, he always seems to show up the next start out. And I really do expect him to do that today. I mean, the challenge for him is going to be to control a few guys in this lineup, Prince Fielder being one of them, you know, who's got some good numbers against him. But if you look at how this Brewer lineup is stacked, manager Ken Maka has put his best hitters against Zambrano at the top. He's got some weak hitters at the bottom, guys who've got really actually bad numbers. A couple guys in there hitting less than 100 against Carlos Zambrano, but they're at the bottom of the lineup. So what Carlos is going to be able to do is make his pitches there. He's going to put most of his attention on the top of this lineup. And at the same time, you don't want to give free passes to these guys. This is a very aggressive Brewer lineup. They can be, you know, they strike out quite a bit. You just have to go out there. You have to make your pitches. Don't fall into patterns. Use both sides of the plate, but attack these guys. At the same time, you just, again, you don't want to give Braun and Fielder shots at hitting the long ball or driving in runs without making these guys earn it. And he knows that, and I think you're going to see Carlos do that today.
Well, Suppan is trying to avoid losing 3 straight for the first time since 2003. Now, this is the Brewers' Achilles heel, their pitching staff, and Suppan's been struggling as well.
Well, and that is it. I mean, you know, but they have left themselves flexibility to make some moves here, you know, coming into the trade deadline, and I completely expect them to do that. That being said, they're going to push through the All-Star break and see what kind of team they have. And they have a team right now. You've got 3 teams kind of jockeying for the top spot. You know, that's what our disappointment, I guess, here on the north side has been, is that the Cubs pitching has been so outstanding. If there could have just been a little bit more offense, you feel like, you know, they could have really put some distance between them and the rest of the pack. Fortunately, you know, unfortunately, they haven't done that. That being said, for as bad as things have been offensively, they are right in the middle of this.
They are looking to get on a roll, especially over the Brewers this weekend. We have to take our first time out on BMW Cubs Pregame Live. When we return, we'll bring you the starting lineups for both squads. And Lou Piniella has put Alfonso Soriano back in the leadoff spot. So can the couple of days off get Fonzie back on track? We'll discuss.
Yankees, the Pirates.
But before we go to break, let's take a look at the home run leaders in the National League. Albert Pujols has already reached the 30-homer mark. The Padres' Adrian Gonzalez is second in the league with 24. Raul Ibanez and Mark Reynolds both have 22 round trippers, and Prince Fielder is fifth with 21.
The Westside Rooters Social Club is hosting an evening with Lou Piniella and Ernie Banks on July 8th at Harry Carey's Italian Steakhouse in Chicago to benefit the JDRF. This includes cocktails, hors d'oeuvres, opportunities for photos, and a question and answer session with Lou.
Getting an education isn't impossible. I was at 2 dead-end jobs. I was not happy. I didn't wake up happy. I didn't go to bed happy. I knew I had no opportunity for advancement. I knew at that position I wouldn't be able to support a family. I knew I needed to make change, and I knew I couldn't do that without an education.
He made some really good choices.
I've had my education, I've got a job with my education, and I'm happy to wake up and go to work. I'm happy to come home and see my family.
And he is doing exactly what he wants to do.
It might have been a little later than I hoped for, but I was able to complete school while working full-time, while raising a family. It's not impossible. If I can do it, anybody can do it.
We are educators helping people build a foundation for the rest of their lives. ITT Technical Institute, education for the future. Call 1-800-942-0088 or visit us on the web. Get an education that can help you reach your goals. ITT Tech has information on financial aid for those who qualify. Call 1-800-942-0088.
What you want? You want more for less from your wireless company. That's why right now, Cricket gives you unlimited talk and text for only $30 a month. With no contracts to sign or overages, call 1-800-262-8966. Click on mycricket.com or hurry into a Cricket store today. For a limited time, get this web-capable Samsung phone and your first month of service free. That's... It's a free phone, a free month of service. So call, click, or come in now. Get respect for your wallet. Cricket.
Performance now is all about logic. That some cars cost as much as $1,500 to maintain is one thing. That others cost even more is quite another. That a BMW costs you nothing to maintain defies all logic whatsoever, and in turn makes it the most logical choice of all. Performance now is the 3 Series. Visit your local BMW center today for a test drive.
CSNChicago.com is giving you exclusive access to your favorite Chicago sports team with blogs, expert analysis, special behind-the-scenes videos, and more. All from your favorite Comcast Sportsnet personalities. Only on CSNChicago.com. Brought to you by Toshiba.
The Cubs are trying to catch the Brewers in the Central Division. Can they do it all this weekend? Lou Piniella hopes so. They won last night, Game 1. Game 2 coming your way at 1:20 right here on your home for Cubs baseball, Comcast Sportsnet. And welcome back to BMW Cubs Pregame Live. Gail Fisher alongside Todd Hollinsworth. Now, the biggest news from Wrigley this morning is that Alfonso Soriano is back in the lineup. Sam Fuld will sit this one out. Now, you have to give Sori the benefit of the doubt that a couple of mental days off will help. Let's take a look at some of his stats to paint the picture here. Now, he started the season well, hitting .280 with 12 home runs and 25 RBI in the first month and a half. Since May 19th, he's been on a free fall, hitting just .181 with 2 home runs and 7 RBI. Todd Sori says he's been working with hitting coach Bon Joshua and says his swing is good. It's just been a matter of timing. How do you get that timing back?
Well, the timing is confidence, and confidence can be timing. When you go up there, you know exactly what you're looking for, and you're not missing your pitches. You're seeing Derrek Lee do that right now. Derrek Lee's in that zone where he can go up there and sit on one pitch. When he gets it, he's not missing it. He's got a great pass, and he's driving the ball. Alfonso Soriano's got to get himself back to that place. The thing that's so alarming to me really is the strikeouts at the top of the lineup. You got 77 strikeouts coming out of the #1 spot. But even more so, you know, I think here in Chicago we have now got to witness what we have not seen in quite some time in Sam Fuld, and you know, which is a little bit more of a traditional leadoff hitter. Now, that's not to say the home runs aren't fantastic from Alfonso Soriano. We understand that, but there's got to be a willingness to make some sort of adjustment. You saw how the offense was sparked, and again, I don't want to give too much credit. Don't misunderstand. But 2 games, you saw what. When you get a guy at the top of that lineup up there who's willing to take some pitches to work a count and to set the table for the guys behind him, what he can do and how he can ignite an offense. And that's exactly what Alfonso Soriano is going to have to do in his own way. Again, he brings that added power to that leadoff spot, which is tremendous. But when he is not doing it, it's basically it's bound the hands of this Cubs offense. And it's so important for this team to get off and rolling quick early and often. And when they do, it takes the pressure off the pitchers. And as good as the pitchers have been, they'll only be that much better pitching with a lead than always feeling with the, you know, having to deal with the pressure of pitching in close ball games. So I mean, again, we're gonna talk about this until we're red in the face, but until Soriano makes those adjustments, he goes up there and starts improving his on-base percentage and getting on base and working that pitcher out there and putting pressure on him and taking pressure off the guys behind him. We're going to continue to talk about it.
Well, let's take a look at the Cubs starting lineup. As you'll see, Soriano back in the leadoff spot and back in left field. Now, the rest of the lineup is the same, except Coy Hill will catch instead of Giovanni Soto. Usually that happens on a night-to-day game turnaround. And Lou's sticking with Jake Fox, who's been hitting well and playing a decent third base. I know Aramis Ramirez is coming back soon, but Fox is making the most of his opportunities.
You know, again, you got to give a lot of credit to Von Joshua. He has done a fantastic job with these guys down in Iowa that have obviously come up, and he's made a really, really good impression for me. He was one of my minor league hitting instructors when I was a very young man, and he had a very positive influence on me, and you know, you just hope to see that this thing translates into some of these veteran players. Again, that's a big challenge on Von's shoulders to come up here and to you know, take guys who have had pretty good track records and good careers to this point and help them to get going. But he has really brought in, I mean, not much has been talked about or even really said about what this organization has had in AAA. These guys are getting up here, they're getting an opportunity to play, they're making the most of it, and they're impacting the lineup in a positive way. These guys are earning themselves playing time. It's so much fun to see and so much fun to watch. That's what you hope that your AAA team does for you. And
Ryan Theriot is another guy that Von Joshua has influenced, and he's the second part of that equation when you talk about guys getting on base. He's in that tool hole, and he's been getting the job one, swinging the bat well since June 1st.
Well, the great thing about that is when you get your leadoff hitter on a regular spot, Ryan Theriot, he is very, very gifted with that bat. He knows, I mean, what you've seen so far this year, the ability to drive the ball out of the yard. I mean, he made an adjustment, you know, a swing adjustment, and all of a sudden he's hitting the ball out of the yard. I mean, this guy, he knows what he's doing up there. He's got a good idea. He's honestly been the most consistent hitter in this Cubs lineup all year long. He showed up day one, and he's been playing pretty good baseball on the offensive side all the way through. The defense has been solid, and I think he's been playing fantastic. He goes a little bit unnoticed because he doesn't hit 25 home runs, and he's not expected to drive in 100 runs, but he is such a pivotal part of this offense because he can do so many things with the bat. He can get a bunt down. He can hit behind runners. He knows what's going on. He understands the situation. He's not afraid to lay it out there on the line and give himself up for the sake of the team and for the offense. He will set the table. We flipped back 2 games ago. That's exactly what he did. Yeah, Derrek Lee ends up hitting the big home run early in the game, but it was, he laid down a sacrifice bunt. And it set the stage for how this, for how the rest of the game went, the last game in Pittsburgh. And he is so gifted and he's so talented, but when you're getting somebody on in front of him, it gives him so many more options of what he can do up there, and it actually makes him a bigger threat in the #2 hole because you don't know if he's going to drop down a bunt or hit behind a runner. When you've constantly got that pressure, he's not taking on the role of a leadoff hitter. He's got action in front of him as well.
Well, on the flip side, let's take a look at the Brewers lineup. A couple of guys stand out. Prince Fielder, of course, and Mike Cameron had a big game last night with 3 hits. We'll start with Fielder since he seems to hit Zambrano well.
Well, he's the one guy in this lineup that I circled about 3 or 4 times. I kept going back and thinking, well, how do you control this guy? But you know what? He's one of those unique hitters. He is a high ball hitter. For a left-handed hitter, most lefties love that low ball, but he loves the high one. When you hang it, he bangs it. Challenge him with fastballs up. I mean, Carlos had to see what he did last night. The 2 balls he hit off of Ryan were balls that were up in the zone. That being said, you make the adjustment. Z, you recognize what you saw last night and do everything you can to keep the ball down and pitch around him when you got the opportunity to pitch around him.
All right, for a poor pitching staff as the Brewers have, they have a very good offense. Much more to come on today's show. After this timeout, we'll look at the standings in the NL Central, but as we head to break, a look at our Cubs poll question of the day. With the tight race in the Central, what team will give the Cubs the most trouble in the Central Division down the stretch? Is it the Brewers, Cardinals, Reds, or the Cubs, because they have to avoid beating themselves? Visit CSNChicago.com, go to the Cubs team page to cast your vote. We'll have the results later on Lowe's Cubs Postgame Live.
Hey Chicago, Fans Edge, the nation's #1 fan shop, brings you the Sports Spectacular Memorabilia Show. Meet over 50 star athletes, get one of 600 free autograph photos, score thousands of Fans Edge prizes, shop and trade with hundreds of vendors. It's the Fans Edge Sports Spectacular at the Donald E. Stevens Convention Center in Rosemont. Fans Edge, everything for the fan.
At Samuel Adams, nothing we brew is as versatile with food as Boston Lager.
The Sam Adams Lager goes beautifully with a lot of ethnic spicy foods.
The maltiness and the hoppiness work well with Indian food.
Samuel Adams Boston Lager is strong enough to support a heavier meal, and it's balanced enough that it's not going to overpower a lighter meal.
It could complement a salmon dish with a little bit of spice to it.
Whether you're at a restaurant, you're home, if you're having great food, and you need a great beer, Boston Lager is the beer that I use.
Sam Adams with great food does nothing better.
I'm just in case. Safe Auto, just in case.
I know it's late, but I'm really worried about being able to afford my car insurance.
Well, we can help with affordable rates, low monthly payments, and we're here for you 24/7.
That's just what I needed to hear. Now I can sleep easy tonight.
See, now this is what I wanted to hear. Safe Auto, just in case.
Auto. DSL costing you time and money? Discover more ways to save with the Mediacom Value Challenge. Are you getting speeds up to 8 megabits a second? Letting you download music in a flash and stream seamless video? Do you get awesome live sports on ESPN360.com or kid-friendly games from Disney Connection? If the answer is no, then say yes to Mediacom and get way more bang for your buck with faster internet for only $19.95 a month for a year. Call 1-800-CABLE-TV today.
I've always been a direct mail kind of guy, and just thought I'd step outside the box. And Rana from On Media called on me, and they had a great campaign that was affordable, and I thought I'd give it a shot, and it's been very successful. I recommend that any business other than my competitors use On Media, and I think they're a great company, and I'm going to continue using them.
Hi, I'm Rana. Let me help you stay ahead of your competition. Call me at On Media.
Weeknights at 5:30 on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend.
Carlos Zambrano versus Jess Suppan, Cubs versus Brewers. It's a divisional showdown at Wrigley, and a great way to start your holiday weekend. We've got the game for you only on Comcast Sportsnet. And it is a critical homestand for the Cubs. 10 more games to go before the All-Star break. Now, outside of 3 games against Atlanta, the Cubs are facing all Central Division foes, none more critical than this one against the first-place Milwaukee Brewers. Let's take a look at the standings. Obviously, Todd, when you go head-to-head, it's almost like picking up 2 games in one. The Cubs now 2.5 back of the Brewers.
You talk about the win and the loss column. When you play these guys head-to-head, they are a little bit, obviously, bigger games. If you're picking up the wins, they're picking up the losses, and that's how you want it to go for the Cubs right now. But you look top to bottom, nobody's made a move. At the same time, some teams have tried to make a move, and they're not deep enough to continue to move forward. I think there's teams on here that are playing a little bit better than they've been at this time, Cincinnati being one of those. I think that there's not a tremendous amount of depth on that roster, but they have played well, and they've got some good young hitters. Votto's been outstanding when he's been in there. He had a long DL stint, but Houston's in there too. I mean, really the only team that I think that the Cubs have truly in the past dominated and will continue to dominate is Pittsburgh, and I think this thing's completely open. At the same time, I think all of these teams are poised to make a move if they can add a piece here or there. That being said, the Cubs are easily the strongest team in this division if they can just get it rolling, get it together. They have the, if they get Aramis back and when they get healthy, I think they win this thing hands down if they can just get the offense clicking. The pitching's been there. The bullpen's settled down for the most part. You can make a few adjustments here and there, but I think they have the least amount of things to worry about. I think the other teams have greater things to worry about, but they have played decent to this point.
Well, it is interesting how tight it is. Only 6 games separate the top from the bottom. Most other divisions, it's 10 games. All right, Carlos Zambrano hasn't pitched poorly this year. His ERA is decent, but at 4-3, he doesn't have the wins he normally would have at this point in the season. He's had his ups and downs and emotional outbursts. Lou Piniella talked before the game about what Big Z needs to do to be successful.
We need a good game from Carlos. We really do. He's our number 1 guy, and we need him to start putting some W's on that win total. One thing for sure, we need to get him some run support. But at the same time, we could use 8 innings a day from him and go right to our closer, hopefully, with a lead.
That would be nice. We have to take one final timeout. When we return, we'll get Todd's keys to a Cub victory today.
And now it's time for the Stay in the Game Hold of the Day, brought to you by Just for Men Hair Color.
Here's a look at our Just for Men hair color Stay in the Game hold spotlight. Carlos Marmol, who has 4 holds in the last 7 games, leads the league with 17. Jeremy Affeldt of the Giants is 1 behind Marmol, with the Mets' Pedro Feliciano currently in 3rd.
Just as these middle relievers keep their team in the game, you too can stay in the game with Just for Men hair color.
It's been a while since I needed a tie.
Dad, you're gonna get this job. They'll be lucky to have you. I know it.
Just for Men. In 5 easy minutes, targets only the gray to help bring out your best.
How'd it go, Dad?
Honey, I think I'm gonna need more ties.
Yes!
Just for Men.
Chicagoans love their pizza. That's why you come to Giordano's. Some for 30 years now. We use only the finest ingredients to make Giordano's famous stuffed pizza, our equally famous thin crust pizza. Plus salads, pastas, sandwiches, and more. Come on into Giordano's and celebrate 30 great years with us. Giordano's famous stuffed pizza. We made it good. You made it famous.
The company that I work for is a company that engineers and designs water features, both static and interactive, such as ones that you would find in Las Vegas. I never thought I'd be where I'm at today if I hadn't gone back to ITT Tech. It's a sense of accomplishment. It's a sense of fulfillment.
Well, I think it was a good idea for him to go back to school. Gives us some inspiration.
Nothing in life that's worth having is easy. And it's never too late to start to go to school. It's what's going to open doors for you. Education is what's going to allow you to become what you want to be.
We are educators helping people build a foundation for the rest of their lives. ITT Technical Institute, education for the future. Call 1-800-942-0088 or visit us on the web.
You want fast, affordable mobile broadband? Get Cricket. Hurry, call 1-800-353-5998 or click mycricket.com for unlimited broadband, just $40 a month. Act now for this free modem and a free month of service. Internet for your desktop or laptop on America's most affordable 3G network with no contracts to sign and no overages. Call, click, or come in today. Get the free modem, free month of service, but only for a limited time. Get respect for your wallet. Cricket.
A beautiful day at Wrigley Wrigley Field, the unofficial holiday, the 3rd of July. Many will go see the fireworks later tonight downtown. Cubs and Brewers kick off your holiday weekend. And Todd, fans want to see a Cubs victory, that white flag flying high. How will they do it? What are your keys to the game?
I've got 3 answers. I've got them all. I know what they are. Number 1, Soup's-on. Jeff Soupon has absolutely struggled against this Cubs offense. He struggled against them early when they weren't hitting the ball, and now they are hitting the ball. I think it's just it's a formula for success for this team, for this offense. I think things are going to go well. Lead the way. I'm referring to Derrek Lee. You know what? Get some guys on for this guy. He is hot. Not only that, he's got fantastic numbers against Jeff Soupon. He's hitting like 450 against him. And finally, the early fireworks. If you get on this team early, the Brewers, I think you can control them. They're a team that strikes out quite a bit. So what you want to do is do it kind of like what you did yesterday. Come out, score some early runs against a guy you've had some success against in the past. You turn it back over to the pitching, into the bullpen, and things are going to turn out well for the Cubs today.
All right, the creativity oozing from Todd Hollinsworth today. I love it. Our pregame
for Bill Melton.
For Bill Melton, exactly. Our pregame coverage continues live from Wrigley with the men calling the game. Todd and I will see you afterwards. Here's Len Casper and Bob Brenly. Guys, take it away.
All right, Gail and Todd, thanks very much. Another cool day, wind blowing in. It's the 3rd of July. Go figure.
Well, we bring jackets to the ballpark every day anyway, just in case, but nice day for a ball game.
And it was a great night last night for the Cubs as they returned home after a very difficult 3-7 road trip, but starting an 11-game homestand. Celebrities out at the ballpark. The Blue Man Group with Ryan Theriot before the game, and balls were flying out of this park left and right. Derrek Lee with a 3-run shot in the bottom of the first off starter Seth McClung of Milwaukee, and the Cubs out to an early 3-0 lead. They wouldn't be done as Jake Fox would take that low fastball out. 2 batters later, it was 4-0 Cubs after 1. But in the 2nd inning, this high-powered Milwaukee offense getting back into the game as Mike Cameron goes up and out, one of his 3 hits of the night. A 2-run homer. The lead is cut in half. 4th inning, Giovanni Soto adding on to the lead. Knee-high fastball for his 8th home run. 5-2 Cubs at that point. And then the big blow, Derrek Lee off right-hander Chris Smith out onto Waveland, a grand slam. The curtain call to follow. 9-2 Cubs. Milwaukee wouldn't be finished just yet as Prince Fielder coming out of his shoes on this swing against Ryan Dempster. His 21st homer of the year was 9-3 at that point. But Ryan Dempster got the win. His first in over a month. Went into the 7th inning. 9 strikeouts on the night, tying his season high. Did give up the 2 home runs, but he only walked 2 and got a ton of offensive support. Now into the 9th inning is Carlos Marmol in a non-save spot with a 4-run lead, getting former Cub Casey McGee on the slider on the outside corner. Cubs win 9-5. They're back to 500. And Bob just 2.5 games out in the division.
And seem to be playing with a lot more energy, a lot more confidence, better at bats, and consequently scoring a bunch of runs last night.
We'll have more on today's lineup a little bit later on. We can tell you Alfonso Soriano is in there and in the leadoff spot. Sam Fuld doing a great job in that spot the last couple of nights, and he talked to Luke Stockmeyer earlier.
All right, thanks, Len. Sam, first of all, what have the last few days been like for you?
Pretty hectic. You know, coming from Round Rock, Texas to Pittsburgh to Chicago within a few days has been pretty crazy the last few days, but I've enjoyed every second of it.
I was going to say, just how much fun is it to get out there and not just go out there, but be so successful?
It's been great. I mean, any sort of contribution I can make to this team means a lot to me, and to be able to start and contribute and help us win a couple games, couldn't ask for anything better.
You were here in 2007, but this has a different feel for you, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a little different being in middle of the season, not having the expanded roster just yet, and actually getting to start a couple games, and it's a little different, and I feel a lot more comfortable just knowing a lot more of the guys, and having been to a couple big league camps now, I feel a lot different. I felt really at ease yesterday and the day before.
Lou was talking before the game today, said, we had that competition for the outfield, and he just wasn't ready, but you know what? Now we feel confident because we know he's ready.
Yeah, I mean, admittedly, I think I put a little too much pressure on myself last camp, trying to battle it out for that job. And, didn't play loose, played really tight, and I think it definitely showed. But like I said, I feel a lot more comfortable now, and I feel like I'm ready.
Talk about your approach at the plate. Last night you had 9-10 pitch walk to start the game. What's your approach as a leadoff man?
I think it's important to see pitches. I think the other guys appreciate that, just being able to see from the dugout, what the other pitcher has. And I'm not any sort of power hitter, so I think it's important for me to just try to get on base however I can. And if that means working deep counts and trying to walk a lot, then that's part of the game.
Is that first at bat of the game different than the other times you come up, though?
I think a little bit, yeah. I think you want to be a little more patient that first time around. It always helps seeing as many different types of pitches from that starter, so that'll help you down the road. But at the same time, if he grooves a fastball one of the first couple pitches, you got to be ready to hit it.
Boy, I saw that play the other day. Threw the guy out at home plate. You came off your feet.
Yeah, that happens a lot. I don't know. I just get that momentum going, and I couldn't do a front flip to save my life, but I somehow do it whenever I throw home. So.
Well, you come out to the ballpark today. You've had 4 hits, 2 walks. I think the natural reaction would have to be a little bit of disappointment, is it not to be in the lineup just a little bit?
Well, no. I don't have any expectations. I just want to, I'm going to enjoy every second that I'm here. You never know how many opportunities you're going to get. They may need me later in the game, and if I can help win, coming in to pinch run or pinch hit or whatever, then I'm happy doing that.
That's part of being the new guy, isn't it? Now you have to be ready in this game in case they need you.
Absolutely. I mean, that's why there are 25 guys in the roster. It's not just the starting 9. It's generally every guy in that roster helps the team win throughout a series or throughout a week.
Well, you've been doing a great job, and we look forward to seeing you more here at Wrigley Field.
All right, thank you.
All right, Len, we'll send it back up to you. That's Sam Fuld.
Luke, thanks very much. And again, Sam will be available off the Cubs bench today. Nice day for baseball. Holiday weekend style. Brewers and the Cubs. We'll talk about today's starting pitchers when we come back.
Cubs Pregame Live is brought to you in part by Menards. At Menards, you'll find big lumber yards, big selection, and big savings.
Update your home with Design House light fixtures from Menards. The Bristol collection features a brushed nickel finish with alabaster glass. A 5-light chandelier is just $99. This 3-light vanity is only $39. Check out our full selection of Serta mattresses from Twins to Kings. Rated a Best Buy by a leading consumer magazine, the Watkins Plush Queen mattress set is $444. The Concord Eurotop Queen set is $484. Dedicated to service and quality. Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
There's a place in Wisconsin's Northwoods that has it all. Eagle River, a favorite Midwest family vacation destination where you'll find the world's largest chain of 28 connected lakes and all the fun that goes with them. It's also the snowmobile capital of the world, where you'll discover great times all year long.
Great times come with the territory.
Go to our website or call this number for your free visitor's guide to great times.
Still parking your car or motorcycle in the driveway or on the street? For a limited time, save up to $2,000 on a quality Tough Shed garage. Tough Shed garages and storage buildings, coast to coast. To find the store nearest you, call 1-800-BUY-TOUGH or visit toughshed.com.
CSNChicago.com is giving you exclusive access to your favorite Chicago sports team with blogs, expert analysis, special behind-the-scenes videos, and more. All from your favorite Comcast Sportsnet personalities. Only on CSNChicago.com. Brought to you by Toshiba.
Get great outdoor products from Menards. This Coleman Road Trip gas grill is perfect for camping, tailgating, or the backyard. It folds up for easy transportation and storage, $148. Check out our great selection of patio furniture. This 5-piece Malibu dining set with glass top table is just $229. That's $70 in savings. The 5-piece Camelot dining set with a tile tabletop and 4 cushion chairs, $299. That's $150 in savings.
Save big money at Menards.
Precision Air specializes in the installation of geothermal heating and air conditioning systems for your home or business. Call us today to ask us about energy-efficient geothermal technology and Climate Master products. Let Precision Air and Climate Master slash your utility bills by up to 60% with a geothermal heating and air conditioning system. With huge federal tax credits and cash rebates, going green with geothermal has never been more affordable. Call Precision Air today to learn more about geothermal energy and Climate Master products.
Every morning, only on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend.
Fans arriving at Wrigley Field. And the bleachers packed already. We're set for Cubs baseball today as they take on the Milwaukee Brewers. And before we talk about the starting pitchers, everybody wondering about that lineup today. And Alfonso Soriano, after 2 days off to get a little bit of a break, is back there in the leadoff spot.
Well, the reality is, Len, as much fun as it's been to watch Sam Fuld the last couple days and a shot of energy he's given this ball club, Alfonso Soriano is the guy that the Cubs are paying big bucks to be the leadoff hitter, be a run producer, be a run scorer at the top of the order. He's had 2 days off. Hopefully that's enough time to clear his mind and physically rest up a little bit. And Cubs need to have Alfonso Soriano doing the things he can do if they're going to be successful.
And more changes coming after this series. Aramis Ramirez expected to be back on Monday. Reed Johnson as well, Angel Guzman. And we'll get a scouting report from you on Reed and Aramis tonight.
Yeah, going to head over to Kane County right after the ball game here at Wrigley today and watch the big boys play a little bit and also watch my son play a little bit.
Let's check out that pitching matchup. Couple of opening day starters will go at it today. Carlos looking to improve after a tough start against the White Sox, and the Cubs have had their way with Jeff Suppan this year.
Yeah, Suppan has struggled recently. He's given up 18 hits and 12 runs in his last couple of starts. Carlos Zambrano has enjoyed pitching against the Brewers, especially up at Miller Park.
Well, they have those patriotic caps on. Every team in baseball will be wearing them this weekend, and we're set for Game 2 of this big series. The Cubs won last night, trying to get back over the 500 mark. We'll get you set for Cubs baseball in a moment.
Cubs Pregame Live is brought to you by your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana area BMW dealers. BMW, the ultimate driving machine.